Hello, and welcome to the rest of my life. I'm Lance Ash, coming to work after a 3-day weekend, and had a very good weekend. Finished a painting, and started a new one starting a new technique where I put 2 layers of paint on the canvas before I've even laid down the initial images yet. So we'll see how this goes. It'll take a while to master it, but I like a challenge, and I feel it's going to be a good thing. Alright, as usual, first order of business item on the agenda is what do I have in the bag. Alright, I can't see a damn thing, hold on. I've got a CD which is 2 LPs transferred onto here. One is Turkish music, that's all it says, and the other is belly dancing. I have several of these, and this is the best one. Next, Grateful Dead, Working Man's Dead. Next, American Beauty by Grateful Dead. Next, Husker Du, Warehouse, Songs and Stories. Great record. Next, Talking Heads, Naked, their final LP, final album. Then, what's this called? Little Creatures by Talking Heads. Van Halen, 1984. And Sonic Youth, Goo. That should be it, yeah. I brought the Grateful Dead because, and this is one of the topics on the list. Don't know why, but for some reason, the Muppets popped into my head over the weekend, and I've always been fascinated with Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, the Muppet Band. Oh, I know what it was. God, it was some comment on a YouTube video. Somebody compared Janice, which was the female Muppet in the Electric Mayhem, to somebody. And somebody else jumped in to defend her, and I jumped in too. Oh, I know what it was. Somebody said that Marjorie Taylor Greene looked like Janice from the Electric Mayhem. And anyway, I and somebody else jumped in to defend her. Jumped in to defend the Muppet. Anyway, so I got to thinking about the Muppets, and I thought about getting a t-shirt with the Electric Mayhem on it, but I'm not spending $30 on a t-shirt, especially when the picture isn't that good. I'd like to get a poster, but I really have nowhere in the house to put a poster anymore. Alright. Okay, since the Muppets is one of the topics, I might as well jump into that. I grew up watching Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, the Electric Company, and when the Muppet Show started, it didn't technically start in 76, but I wasn't aware of it until 6th grade. And because I remember talking about it with some other kids in class. It was all the rage to watch. And I remember our homeroom teacher jumping on us, saying, "Aren't you a little old to be watching that?" And we're like, "This is not Sesame Street. That's not what this is." I can't watch the show now. I've tried to rewatch some of the old episodes, and the laugh track just ruins it. I don't understand what the point of that is. I'd like to rewatch some of the movies. But I don't know. All of the human guest stars on the show and the humans in the movies were all people who were big at that time, and I just don't. It's kind of creepy. But yeah, even back then, when I understood that Jim Henson was the creative force behind the Muppets, I became fascinated with him. He's on my list of quasi-heroes because he created something, created his own empire. It's strange to think that he was only a year older than I am when he died. All the stuff he got done in his life. All right, next topic. Okay, this is a follow-up to last week's episode. I can't say his name for various reasons, but the guy that I was friends with in high school that found out that my best friend from high school had dated this girl and then no longer was dating her, and now she was a female who was potentially available, and the ice had already been broken in some bizarre conceptual way, and went over there and knocked on her door unannounced. That same guy, remember I told you, he was just, I mean, we were all extremely horny at that age, okay? But he was not only horny, but ultra desperate. When he found out that you had done something, it drove him crazy. When you had done something sexual or had some intimate contact with a girl, it drove him crazy. Anyway, I dated two different girls from the school. And one of them, both of them, gave me blowjobs. But the one of them in particular, it really upset him. When he found out that she had given me a blowjob, it just set his mind ablaze. And he called her one night and said, "Would you like to go study with me at the university library?" And this, I mean, she said, "Yeah, sure, I guess." You know, she was really puzzled at this request. Anyway, so they met there, or they met up and drove there, I don't remember. Anyway, so they get there and they don't go. He says, let's not go in to the library. Let's go sit on this bench. This is nighttime, okay? So okay. So they sit down and he jumped on her and gave her a kiss, and she struggled and pushed him off of her. And when she got him off of her, he said, "Why don't you give me a blowjob?" Anyway, so then at the end of the year, that was close to the end of the year to begin with. But anyway, this is our senior year, okay? The day the yearbooks were passed out, and everybody's going around getting autographs from other people, you know, in their books. He wrote in my yearbook some little thing, you know, enjoyed being friends with you and see you around. But around what he had written, he wrote the initials BJ, 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 all over and over in a circle. Can you imagine the mentality of someone that would do that? Isn't that bizarre? Just as I might as well go ahead and say a few more anecdotes about this dude. I don't know where we were It might have been Atlanta, but something tells me it was some other town. Some town I wasn't familiar with. I can't remember. Anyway, we used to get drunk together a lot. And it was in the middle of the night, and we were somewhere, I don't know where it was, and he said, I know the address of this girl somebody he knew this girl, and somehow he had gotten the address and I guess memorized it. He said, let's go over and see this girl. And I'm like, what? Do you know her? No, I just know the address. Does she know of you? No. Anyway, he knocked on the door in the middle of the night and used his inherited salesman powers to talk his way. And by that I mean just spewing bullshit. Talk his way into her apartment in the middle of the night. Now I'm dead drunk, right? And I stayed awake long enough to be like, this is just ridiculous. He's talking and talking and talking and talking, and I fell asleep on the sofa. We were there for like 4 hours. Finally, he wakes me up and says, let's go. And we get out in the car, and I'm like, well, what happened? He goes, she kissed me on the cheek, finally. It's unbelievable. I've heard him tell just bold-faced lies to people with the intention of impressing them, to gaining prestige and status and some entry into their lives in some way. I don't live my life that way. All right, this is the first topic I wrote down several days ago. I graduated when I was 17, but I started senior year when I was 16, turned 17 halfway through. And so it must have been junior year that I started driving. So I'd ridden the bus up until that point. My dad gave me his old 78 Toyota Corolla to drive because I got a job as a bag boy at Kroger around the same time, not long after I turned 16, so I had to have something to drive. Anyway, but the funny thing is, I remember it being the anecdote, the memory I'm leading up to. I remember it being a hot day, a warm day. So I don't know when this was exactly, but going home on the school bus one day, and most of the kids have been dropped off, so it's just a few kids left on the bus, and I'm sitting near the back, and the windows are open, right? This is the days before every person in the world carried around their own personal portable disco with them. And so nobody's talking. All you hear is the rumble of the bus over the road and the wind coming through the windows. It's warm and quiet. It's just that noise. And I remember suddenly thinking to myself, basically two things. This is very peaceful and relaxing and very pleasant to sit here. And number two, this is the last time you're ever going to experience this. I don't know if it was the very last school bus ride I ever had or close to it, but it's just a very, and there's like one of these 12-hour noise videos on YouTube, for background. It's the what is it? The deep brown noise video. And I put that on when I discovered it about a year ago. I put it on and I was listening. I was like, God, this sounds a lot like riding on the school bus. Just this rumble, and it's just one of those. It's a memory of a feeling, and I think that's, I don't know, nostalgia. I don't know. Sometimes the memory of a feeling is more powerful than a memory of a series of events or something, Where are we at here? Ooh, about 4 minutes to go. Let's see if we can stretch this out. I really don't have anything else to say. You rewatch that scene from the Muppet movie where Kermit and Fozzie meet the Electric Mayhem in that church, and they're all introducing themselves, and it's all this sort of parody of hippie musician stereotypes, but at the same time, and so it's a little bit over the top, but at the same time, it's a very enticing image. It makes you think once again, wish I could have been in a band, wish I could have been a traveling gypsy like that, very free spirit and all that. But my psychological nature is such that I really don't get along with people. And if I am in a group setting, I either tend to be the loner or the one who takes over, and the other people resent it, and I feel bad about that, so I never really could be in a band. Plus, after all these years, I don't know. I'm being a musician, writing songs, recording them, that's fine. But putting on a show, being a showman, a performer, and all that, and I realize that it's all artifice. Everything in life is artifice. I realize that, but at the same time, it's phony. It's like the whole lying thing. It's just not appealing to me. Now, I have no qualms about lying if it means getting out of trouble. Lie to a cop. No, I haven't been drinking. Shit. But I just think I like to entertain people, but just in a little one-on-one or small group setting. And I always found it more entertaining to be self-deprecating and tell the truth, about being just a regular person like everybody else. Not make these, I really told him off. Let me tell you this story about the time I told this guy off and whatever. Or I triumphed over them all. Look at me. Oh, God. Well, anyway, it really was a good week. A good weekend. I'll tell you something else real quick before I go. 3-day weekend. So, was it Friday? Must have been. My wife and I went out to do something, run some errands, and while we're out, she asked, "Do you want to go eat at this Mexican place called Agua Linda?" And I really didn't want to, but I wanted to be a good sport, so I said, "Okay, yeah, sure." So we drive over there, and I really had no idea that in the same parking lot was this Italian place that we haven't eaten at in a long time. And we get there, and we both were like, "Well, my God, let's go there." So So we went to the Italian place instead and dropped $61 on lunch, but it was really, really good. Oh, they make, it's supposed to be an appetizer, but it's they're breadsticks, and it's just basically breadsticks with cheese melted on top and with spinach and onions braided into the bread, and it's so good. Oh, and we split. They have a half order and a full order you can get, and we just split the full order. Plus, we split a big salad, and we split this little appetizer of basically ravioli with some weird sauce, and it was okay, but the breadsticks were the main thing. It was fantastic. Anyway, so it was a nice weekend overall. Yeah. So the future is bright with promise. I'll see you later. Bye.